So good morning students. Today this is our fourth lecture on magnetic fields due to electric current. Now in this fourth lecture we will study what is the torque on a current loop, or wherever any current carrying loop is kept or suspended in a uniform magnetic field, then what is the expression for torque which is acting on a coil? So here we have shown a rectangular loop A, B, C, D made up of a conductor. Rectangular loop A, B, C, D made up of a conductor of length L1 and breadth L2. It is suspended in a uniform magnetic field produced by the two opposite poles of strong magnet, such that plane of loop ABCD, it remains parallel to the direction of magnetic field B. It remains parallel to the direction of magnetic field B, such that the segment AB and CD of a loop, they are perpendicular to the direction of magnetic field. They are perpendicular to the direction of magnetic field. Now by using Fleming's right hand rule, we will just determine the direction of magnetic force acting on segment AB and that of segment CD. So what is that Fleming's right hand rule? Fleming's right hand rule states that if we stretch middle finger, forefinger and the thumb of our right hand in such a manner that this forefinger is pointing in the direction of flow of current, middle finger is pointing in the direction of our magnetic field, then the outstretched thumb, it will point in the direction of what? Magnetic force acting on that current carrying loop, current carrying conductor. So on the segment AB, apply Fleming's right hand rule. Here current is flowing from B to A. Current is flowing along the direction of forefinger. Magnetic field, it is acting, look at this, it is acting along the direction of what? Central finger, that is from left towards the right hand side. Then the direction of outstretched thumb, it is pointing upward, means on the segment AB, magnetic force is acting upward. Similarly, apply Fleming's right hand rule to find out the direction of magnetic force on the segment CD. On the segment CD. Now, the direction of flow of current is reversed from B to A. Here, current is flowing in opposite direction. As current is flowing in opposite direction, but that magnetic field is pointing in the same direction. Magnetic field is pointing in what? Same direction. Then, what is the direction of stretched thumb? It is pointing downward. So, the magnetic force on the segment CD, it is pointing in what? Downward direction. So, on the segment AB, magnetic force is acting upward. On the segment CD, magnetic force is pointing what? Downward. Pointing downward. So, to determine the forces acting on different arms of a loop, to determine the forces acting on different arms of a loop, here I have drawn some diagram where a rectangular loop ABCD is shown. And the forces on different arms are defined like this. On the segment AB and that of CD, which are perpendicular to the direction of magnetic field, the force acting on AB is F3 and that of CD is what? F1. Force acting on AB is what? Force acting on AB is F3 and that of CD, that force acting is what? F1. While the force acting on segment AD and BC this is AD. Here what is that force acting? F2. And here on BC force acting is what? F4. So first, and as far as length of segment CB and that of AD, CB and AD, what is the length of segment is? L2. Length of segment is L2. While the length of segment AB and CD, it is what? L1. So one by one, first we will calculate the forces acting on different segments of a loop. Then we will find out the net torque acting on a coil which is responsible for rotation of coil. So as far as this coil is concerned, the segment AB and CD of a loop, they are perpendicular to the direction of magnetic field, but segment BC and AD, they are not perpendicular to the direction of magnetic field. It means if this coil is rotated slightly through an angle theta, when coil is rotated through an angle theta, it means what? Normal to the plane of coil rotates through an angle theta. Through an angle theta means the angle between length of segment BC and the direction of magnetic field. See here, this green line represents segment BC. This line will represent what? Direction of magnetic field B. So whenever the segment BC or loop is rotated through an angle theta, means normal to the segment BC, when it is rotated through an angle theta, angle between length of coil and the direction of magnetic field, it is 90 minus theta. It is what? 90 minus theta. Now suppose, or if I say that on the segment BC, the magnetic force acting on segment BC, magnetic force acting on segment BC, if it is denoted by F4, magnetic force on the segment BC is F4, then by definition force, magnetic force acting on any conductor carrying current is always given by formula I into vector L cross vector B, or it is equal to ILB into sine of theta, where theta is angle between what? L and B. So the force, magnetic force acting on segment BC, it is F4. I had represented it by F4, segment BC. Force acting on segment BC is what? F4. So the force, magnetic force acting on segment BC is F4, and that force is equal to current flowing through segment BC. Through segment BC, same current I is flowing, into length of segment BC. What is length of segment BC? It is L2 cross of the magnetic field in which that segment is kept. Magnetic field in which that segment is kept. Remember here, if B is a uniform magnetic field, and here I have stated that segment BC or that loop is rotated through an angle theta. Loop is rotated through an angle theta. Then what is the angle between direction of magnetic field and length of coil? It is 90 minus theta. 90 minus theta. So L2 into vector B, or it is equal to I into L2 into B into sine of angle between length of segment B2 and that of what? Direction of magnetic field. Here this is the direction of magnetic field and this is the length of segment BC. And what that angle is? 90 minus theta. So it is sine of 90 minus theta. So the force acting on segment BC is F4 equal to I L2B sine of 90 minus theta. See here. In the segment BC, its length is L2. Similarly, segment AD, what is the length of segment AD? L2. Both are rotated through Same angle theta, because when we rotate the coin, whatever may be the angle through which BC is rotated, segment AD is also rotated through the same angle theta. But the direction of flow of current are opposite. It means whatever force is acting on segment BC, what is the force acting on segment BC? F4. Force acting on segment AD, its magnitude must be same. Means what I can say, F4 is equal to F2. They are equal in magnitude, but they are opposite in direction. F4 equal to F2. So the forces acting on segment BC and that of segment AD, F2 is what? F2 is a force acting on, magnetic force acting on segment what? AD. So F2 and F4, these two forces, they are equal in magnitude, but they are acting what? Opposite in direction. Again, one important thing that you must remember, that these two forces, F2 and that of F4, so their line of action of force is same, means both the forces, that is F2 which is acting on BC and F4 which is acting on what? Segment AD. So the two forces F2 and F4, their line of action of force are same, means they are collinear. And whenever we are having a pair of forces which are equal in magnitude but opposite in direction, and in case if they are collinear, means their line of action of force coincide, then these forces, they will cancel the effect of each other. Such pair of forces which are equal in magnitude but opposite in direction, and their line of action of force is coinciding, means two forces are collinear, so they will cancel the effect of each other. They will cancel the effect of each other. Now look at the segment AB and that of CD. The magnetic force acting on segment AB, magnetic force acting on segment AB, it is denoted by what? F3. And the magnetic force acting on segment CD, denoted by what? F1. So force acting on segment AB and that of CD, because their lengths are same, because they are carrying the same current, because they are kept in same uniform magnetic field, so the magnitude of forces acting on segment AB and that of CD, they are equal in magnitude but they are what? Opposite in direction. So we can find out the force acting on segment AB as vector F3 is equal to current flowing through segment AB I into length of segment AB is L1 into magnetic field B. Magnetic field B. So this is I into L1B into sine of, as segment AB is perpendicular to the magnetic field, or segment CD is perpendicular to the magnetic field, and theta here is, because L1 cross B, cross product of two vectors is product of their magnitude and sine of angle between them. Here L1 and B, they are at what? Right angle. Length of segment AB is perpendicular to the direction of magnetic field. So here I L1B into sine of 90. What is sine 90? Every now and then we are drawing this diagram. Sine 90 is plus 1. So force F3 is equal to I L1B into 1, or magnitude of force F3 is equal to I L1B. So force F3 which is acting on segment AB, according to right hand rule, it is acting in which direction? In upward direction, while the force on segment CD, force on segment AB and CD, they are equal in magnitude, but they are what? Opposite in direction. On AB it is acting upward while the magnetic force on CD is acting downward. So such pair of forces which are equal in magnitude but opposite in direction and they are not collinear, means their line of action of force are different. Line of action of force are different. So any object which is acted upon by two forces which are equal in magnitude but opposite in direction, such pair of force F1 and F3, they are forming a couple. And the moment of couple is nothing but torque. So out of four forces here on a loop ABCD, in all there are four forces are acting: F1, F2, F3, F4. F1 and F3, they are equal in magnitude, opposite in direction. F2 and F4, they are equal in magnitude, opposite in direction. Means F1 cancels the effect of F3, F2 cancels the effect of what? F4. But remember, as far as F2 and F4 are concerned, the force acting on segment BC and AD, because they are collinear, they are not forming a torque. Whereas the force F1 and F3, they are equal in magnitude, acting opposite in direction, but their line of action of force do not coincide, hence they are producing a torque, and that torque will rotate the coil about the central axis. Means situation, if I look at coil from the top, then here B, C, everywhere here this force is acting what? Upward. And here force is acting in downward direction. So at point B, force F3 and here is F1. And here that central axis line. So look at this figure, same situation is shown with greater clarity. Here the torque acting on a coil, we want to find out the torque which is acting on a coil. So torque is nothing but magnitude of force multiplied by perpendicular distance. So torque acting on a coil is equal to, torque is always equal to force multiplied by what? Moment R. Force multiplied by moment R. Look at this figure. Here this force is F3 or this force is magnetic force. Here the another force is pointing downward. This is upward force, this is what? Downward force. And the perpendicular distance between the two forces, here this is acting downward, this is acting upward, and we want to find out the torque. Actually this torque is the sum of look at this, here this distance is L2 by 2, L2 by 2, here point B, point C, and here the forces are like this. So the torque acting on a loop about the central axis is magnitude of force multiplied by moment R. Now what is the magnitude of one of the force? F3 or F1? Magnitude of force F3, it is what? I, B, L1. Magnitude of force on segment AB, it is I, B, L1 into moment R. Into moment R. Look at this, as far as this triangle is concerned. This segment, it is moment R. If I say this is M, N, O, then what is sin theta equal to? Sin theta equal to NO, opposite side, divided by OM. This NO is the moment R. NO is what? The moment R, and that is equal to OM into sin theta. What is OM? OM is half of L by 2 into sine of theta. So the torque on a loop is force F3 on AB multiplied by the moment R, which is perpendicular distance between pair of forces L2 by 2 into sine of theta, plus now the another force in that torque is F1. What is the magnitude of force again? The force acting on the segment CD, it is IB into L1 into moment R. Again, if I just find out the moment R here, again it is equal to what? This angle is theta and this side is also L2 by 2 into sine theta. So the moment R L2 by 2 into sine of theta. So the net torque acting on a coil, it is equal to IBL1 L2 by 2 sine theta, IBL1 L2 by 2 into sine theta. Now we can take IBL1 L2 into sine of theta as common. So in bracket 1 by 2 plus 1 by 2, or it is equal to IBL1 L2 into sine of theta. IBL1 L2 into what? Sine of theta. Now, this is the torque acting on a rectangular loop or current carrying rectangular loop. That loop has a single turn. If I say that instead of a single turn loop, we may have a coil having n number of turns, then the torque acting on one turn is torque. So the net torque acting on a coil having n number of turns, if I say n is the number of turns in a coil, we know the torque acting on a single turn is torque. If coil has 2 turns, the net torque is T dash is equal to, or 2 dash is equal to toe plus toe. If coil has 3 turns, toe plus toe plus toe. In this way, if coil has n turns, then in all we will have the net torque acting on a flat rectangular coil having n turns is T dash is equal to, or toe dash is equal to n into toe. But we know the value of torque acting on a single turn coil or torque acting on a current loop is equal to n into, now in place of toe I can write IBL1 L2 into sine of theta. But what is L1 into L2? This is a rectangular coil of length L1 and breadth L2. So this L1 into L2 is nothing but area of single turn of a coil. So torque acting on a flat coil having n turn is equal to NIBA into sine of theta, or T dash is equal to NIA into B sine of theta. So this is the expected expression for torque acting on a coil of any shape, but it is a flat coil having n turn. So torque acting on any flat coil having n turn, which is carrying current I and kept in a uniform magnetic field, is T equal to, or 2 dash is equal to NIA B sine theta. Again you know NIA is a magnetic dipole moment. So it becomes MB sine theta, means torque is equal to vector M cross of vector B. Vector M cross of vector B. So this is all about what is the torque acting on a current carrying loop. Derive an expression for torque acting on a current carrying loop. So these two diagrams, they are very much important as far as examination point of view is concerned. Now the next important device, it is moving coil galvanometer. In the board examination, there might be a question for 3 marks or 4 marks that state the principle, construction and working of moving coil galvanometer. So as far as moving coil galvanometer is concerned, its principle, what is the principle on which the analog voltmeter or ammeter works? Analog voltmeter or ammeter, or which is nothing but a moving coil galvanometer, the torque exerted by magnetic field on the coil, torque exerted by magnetic field on the coil is directly proportional to current I or potential difference V, which is to be measured. What is the principle? The torque exerted by magnetic field, on the coil of current carrying coil is directly proportional to either current I to be measured or potential difference to be measured. So this is the principle of moving coil galvanometer. In the construction of moving coil galvanometer, simply 3 to 4 lines you have to write. First, moving coil galvanometer, it consists of a coil. It consists of a coil having few turns of insulated copper wire. That coil is suspended. Either that coil is suspended with the help of upper suspension fiber over which mirror is attached, or a lower suspension which is a helix. Which is what? A helix or a spring. So the coil of MCG is suspended either with the help of a upper suspension over which a plain mirror is attached. Actually, this upper suspension is made up of what? Mixture of phosphor and bronze, and that suspension fiber is highly elastic, while the lower suspension is a helix. Means coil is either suspended or it may be pivoted with the help of two springs. So depending upon which, we are having two types of MCG: suspended coil type MCG when suspension fibers are used, or pivoted coil type MCG when springs are used to pivot the moving coil galvanometer. So coil is either suspended or pivoted in such a manner that coil is free to rotate. This coil is free to rotate about one of the fixed axis in a radial magnetic field produced by cylindrically concave opposite pole pieces of strong horseshoe electromagnet. See here, what you have to write in construction. Moving coil galvanometer consists of a coil having few turns. That coil is either suspended or it is pivoted. So that coil is free to rotate about one of its axis in a radial magnetic field produced by cylindrically concave opposite pole pieces. There is a soft iron core. Here there is a cylinder made up of iron. We know that iron is a magnetic material. So a soft iron core which is cylindrical in shape, it is fixed, it is stationary, and coil is allowed to rotate about that core. This is iron core and here it will represent a coil. So coil can rotate about the iron core. What is the use of iron core? Iron core, it helps to increase the magnetic flux associated with coil, and that iron core helps to produce a is one of the position of coil. So magnetic field is parallel to the plane of coil. And by chance, if coil is rotated, when current pass through it, coil may rotate and may acquire this position. So for this position still, that magnetic field produced by cylindrically concave pole piece, it is parallel to the plane of coil, or after rotation, if coil acquires this position, still the plane of coil, it remains parallel to the direction of magnetic field. So a soft iron core along with cylindrically concave opposite pole pieces, they help to produce the radial magnetic field. And the function of radial magnetic field is that plane of coil, it always remains parallel to the direction of a magnetic field. Direction of a magnetic field. Now, as far as this coil is concerned, in the working you have to write only 2 points and derive the formula. Now, the coil of MCG, it is acted upon by 2 torques. One of the torque, which is the torque exerted by a magnetic field on a coil. That torque is known as magnetic torque. The torque exerted by magnetic field on the coil. It is known as a magnetic torque, and that magnetic torque, it is given by formula NIAB. Equation number 1. Already we had derived this. So the torque exerted by magnetic field on a coil is magnetic torque, and it is given by NIAB, where N represents number of turns in the flat coil of MCG. I is the current which is flowing through the coil and which we want to measure. A, it is the area of each turn of a coil. Area of each turn of a coil. So that N into A, it becomes total area of that flat coil. And B is the strength of magnetic field in which that coil is suspended or coil is pivoted. Actually, NIAB sine of theta is there. NIAB sine of theta. Here, what is theta? Theta is the angle between. Theta is the angle between what? Area vector and the strength of magnetic field. So look at area of this figure. For this figure, suppose coil is at this position. Then area vector is perpendicular to plane of coil. Area vector is perpendicular to what? Plane of coil. And theta is angle between area vector and direction of magnetic field. What that angle is? Normal to the plane of coil is at 90 degree with direction of field. Means theta is equal to 90 degree. So as coil is suspended in radial magnetic field, for any arbitrary position of coil, as plane of coil, it always remains parallel to. Plane of coil is parallel to what? Direction of magnetic field B. Plane of coil, it remains parallel to the direction of magnetic field due to radial magnetic field. Means here theta is equal to 90 degree and sine theta equal to sine 90 equal to 1. So the magnetic torque, one of the torque which is acting on a coil is magnetic torque, and is given by NIAB because sine theta equal to 1. Due to what? Due to radial magnetic field. Now, as I had mentioned, that coil is either suspended with the help of suspension fiber, or it is pivoted with the help of spring. Suppose coil is pivoted with the help of spring. Now when coil is rotated due to this magnetic torque, what happens to these springs? Either they will be what? Compressed, or they will be what? Expanded. In both the cases, it is the tendency of a spring to return back to its original shape. This is possible only when those springs they are exerting a restoring torque on a coil. Means the effect of magnetic torque it is counterbalanced by the torque exerted by spring on a coil. Torque exerted by spring on a coil. So that counter torque it is known as a restoring torque. Remember, as far as the current I is concerned, so long as a steady current or fixed current flowing through a coil, means when current flowing through the coil is fixed, naturally the angular deflection of coil phi is constant. So long as I is steady or fixed, angular deflection phi produced in a coil is constant. It means greater the current flowing through the coil, greater will be the angular deflection. Greater the angular deflection, it means larger will be the restoring torque exerted by spring on a coil. Means here we are having the relationship that greater the current flowing through the coil, naturally greater will be the angular deflection produced in a coil. Naturally that spring will exert more restoring torque on a coil. It means restoring torque exerted by spring on a coil is directly proportional to what? Angular displacement of a coil, angular deflection of a coil. Phi is what? Angular deflection of a coil. Or restoring torque exerted by spring is equal to some constant of proportionality into angular deflection phi. Here K is known as torsional constant. K is known as what? Torsional constant of that spring, or it may be a torsional constant of suspension fiber. Now that spring is under the action of two torques. One of the torque is what? Magnetic torque, which will try to rotate the coil in one direction, and another torque is what? Restoring torque exerted by spring on a coil. So coil is under the action of two torque. One torque will try to rotate the coil in one direction, while other torque will try to rotate the coil in what? Opposite direction. So coil is under equilibrium whenever two torques they are equal. Means when magnetic torque is equal to what? Restoring torque, then coil is said to be under equilibrium. Magnetic torque is what? NIAB, and restoring torque is K into phi. Or angular deflection of a coil is equal to NIAB divided by K, or phi is equal to NAB divided by K into I. Since number of turns in a coil, area of each turn, strength of magnetic field, and the torsional constant of that spring, they are all constant, means this entire bracket is constant. It implies that phi is proportional to I. That is, the deflection of a coil, deflection produced in a coil is directly proportional to current I to be measured. So this is all about a moving coil galvanometer, principle, construction and working. Along with diagram, there might be a question for either 3 marks or there might be a question for 4 marks.